Well, looky what we have here. I feel like I'm in one of those classic road trip comedy movies. You know, the road is closed, the whole family's getting into shenanigans, and Malcolm is flirting with a girl from a different minivan. You know, sitcom type situation. We've made a little camp over there with some strangers. The road is closed.
About 1 more hour of this.
And it's supposed to reopen. All right, done with the chairs. Do you see how far back the line goes? It goes like miles back there. Look at it. Good thing we got here when we did. Yes! We did it! It's open. We just might make it after all. Okay, just a little bit of driving now, a little bit of camp setup time.
And finally,
the boy and I are in the woods.
This has been a tumultuous couple of weeks, both for our country, for people across the whole country, and for me personally.
The virus and shutdowns, everyone losing their jobs, no places to go, then all the arguing over reopening, and then the unfortunate tragic death of George Floyd.
The millions of people peacefully protesting, and then the few people not so peacefully protesting.
Arguing, chaos, and then in the midst of it, I've been going through some medical stuff. So has Allie. She's actually having a treatment right now, which we can't go to anyways because the whole virus thing.
I had to get MRIs and CT scans for the stuff with my neck. My arm has been going back and forth, being partially paralyzed.
That cost a small fortune, as you can imagine, a fortune I did not really have.
And of course, because the whole summer is humbugged by the virus and the craziness going on.
And all our sweet reservations that we were stoked on got canceled. London here. Sort of lost out on what were you holding there, an axe? Here's London.
Had his Boy Scout camp canceled, had some other camping plans we had canceled. We have longer, more extensive plans, but everything built up, all the stress, all the anxiety.
We had a chance to get a little reservation out here in the wilderness of the San Bernardino National Forest.
Got a couple of chairs on sale for $9.99.
And now we're just making ourselves at home in the dusty woods up here.
London here is learning how to use a hatchet to split off. Of course, we picked the worst piece of wood to make an example of, but he's been learning how to chop off kindling. Oh, there you go. There you go. To prepare the El Campo fire. You'll get the hang of it. It takes some getting used to. Just be really safe and careful with your fingers. Take your hand away before you do any chopping. There you go. Gives me a little anxiety, but by the time I was 13, I was out in the woods by myself many a time with the scouts, even being sent on survival things where you had to spend the night alone in a shelter you made in these very mountains, as a matter of fact.
We walked just a little ways away from camp. Kind of a nice view over here.
Still a little sunny on the western slope.
Now, we didn't come out here to film some sort of camping adventure with you guys. I do plan on doing that at some point, actually. I was totally gearing up for that all before the virus hit. You remember.
The real reason that I'm out here is to sort of, what's the word I'm looking for here?
Mentally de-escalate, de-stress, hopefully a little bit, center myself. Take any cliche you want. That is what I'm trying to do. I would not be exaggerating. This is not hyperbole to say that I was basically having a low-key, slow burn, nervous breakdown for the last week and a half, 2 weeks.
Happens to the best of us. Just too much for too long. Two back to back to back to back. It's weird over this hill. You can hear the, can you hear that? You can hear the road down there a lot more clearly.
As you know, I normally don't do vlogs sort of like this. I do more of a show, basically a TV show, except I upload it to YouTube instead of, you know, TV.
And we had those time travel episodes of Random Land, which were very hard to work on and required a lot of just sitting there, working, trying to ignore everything happening in the world so I could just have something to focus on to not sort of get claustrophobic and go crazy. Because as you know, I'm a man in motion. I don't like to hold still. I like to keep moving. That's how I fight my depression, my anxiety, everything else. That's been one horrible thing about the whole pandemic thing is, and the lockdowns, is people being home who have these type of issues to deal with. And I thought, man, I spent 7 years constantly on the move, never slowing down, never stopping for more than ever a few days just to recover when I absolutely had to, but pretty much just non-stop. Never took a vacation, nothing. Then I hit this, and I thought at first, it'll be kind of a nice rest, you know, it'll be a nice change of pace. But it turns out it was not. It started to drive me absolutely batty and nuts. And then with the whole tragedy with George Floyd and all the crazy stuff and everybody arguing everywhere. It just felt like it was like the final piece of the puzzle to make the stress really start to bubble up and no escape from it. And then just being terribly, terribly afraid of the nerve damage in my arm here, and luckily the camera's not too heavy, it doesn't make my hand shake, but there are times where I can't hold anything in my left hand without it really getting tremors now. And I know it could be worse, and lots of people have faced worse, and 99% of them come through successfully, no problem, everything will be good. And I've been through worse flare-ups. Obviously last year was a really bad one, I was down forever. So I should feel confident in everything, but waiting for the MRIs and for the surgeon to give me his opinion and all that kind of stuff. I don't know, it was the combination of everything just got me where I was like, I could not function. So I got a lot of camping to make up for the boy. He missed out on his whole spring and beginning of summer of camping. He's missing out on his summer camp this year. The summer camp is reopening. They were just booked to go before its reopening date. But more than that, I really needed to get away from the phone, or at least the phone service. I really needed to get away from computers, from people arguing, from the news, from the house. There's a whole saga about the bad neighbor upstairs, which I will save for a Patreon podcast so I can get really into it. Oh, that's a whole saga. So yeah, loud screaming matches with neighbors were occurring. Just stressful things. It's a hard thing to be stressed out about your house when your neighbor is being crazy and all this kind of stuff. I don't know, it sounds pitiful. I have a good life that I'm grateful for. It's just, sometimes it's too much. You can never tell what somebody's breaking point is. Some people can go through the most insane family tragedies and cancer treatments and crazy stuff. I mean, they never seem to lose heart, to lose faith, to let themselves be overwhelmed by stress. And then that same person will go to rent a movie back in the day. I guess it's a little dated reference, and the movie they want won't be there, and that will just be the thing that just sends them mentally reeling. So I just feel like whatever the tipping point was, maybe it was all the extreme grief that our country's going through, and then the mighty just cause that everyone sort of agrees with splinters naturally into thousands of small fights, like they kicked the campfire, went everywhere, to thousands of small arguments over the best way to do everything. I don't know, maybe that combined with having the MRIs this week and just the fear of like, oh no, this is real, I might have to have the surgery. Woo! Just too much. So it has affected my ability to be positive, to feel that positivity, for the quest for positivity. If you guys don't know what that is, go way back. You'll find lots of information on the quest for positivity, or go into the Facebook group, Sometimes Mobs, always linked down below, where you can leave a comment for this, because I usually turn off comments on vloggy stuff and let everybody comment over in the Facebook group. It's a nice way to let people know that it exists. And whenever I've been truly negative, unless it's super time sensitive, like I'm covering an event, there's only 4 hours and there's no choice. If I'm super negative, if I'm not feeling the positivity, since the whole point of Random Land, the whole point of my job is to create a space away from the news cycle, away from what's going on in the world, for people to step back, just have somewhere else to mentally go for a while, to regain their strength, their balance, and then go back to work, or maybe back to protesting, maybe back to the ER, maybe back to their grandmother's bedside, whatever it may be. That's the whole point, right? It's a whole mantra, and the whole thing I try to do is present that. That's why we don't get political. We never talk about sex or politics or religion, all that kind of stuff. Although I'm not fond of the buzzword, think about it as sort of a mental safe space in a way. It's a place to be silly, to be relaxed, to be fun. Because even a brain surgeon, you know, has got to have some times where he needs a good chuckle. He needs to de-stress so that when he goes back into surgery, he can concentrate. But anytime that I've ever been really negative and really cut off from that positivity, I don't film. I don't go to Disneyland or a day on Route 66 where I am just angry or grief-stricken, or my relatives just passed away, or whatever it is. If I can't feel the hope and the positivity, I don't film. Because I want that to be something that genuinely comes from the heart, infects the video, and then infects everybody else. You know what I mean? That's my way of putting love and positivity out in the world. And if it's not real, if I don't actually have it, then it's not real, it's not coming from me. To me, it's not genuine, and I don't do it. So this partial nervous breakdown I've been talking about, which is still sort of in me as I speak, really affected my ability to be like, I just can't do it. So I've been trying stuff. I've been trying to like work on hobby buildings, model buildings. I've never done that before. I've always wanted to try. I'll let you know how it turns out. I'll do another vlog if I finish it, and I'll show you. And I've been trying to not think about stuff, distract myself, but it's been really tough the last couple of days. So this is what it is, the mountains. And as much as I would love to give you a tour of everything and you know, do a whole thing and be funny and run around and get crazy. I really need the break from home, from science equipment, phones, other than I use it for a book. I put it in airplane mode and just read my book on there sometimes, but I do have some paper books in case I'm tempted. Our actual campsite is cut off from cell phone service. By the time you see this, we won't even be here anymore. We'll be back down in the city. And actually, by the time you see this, I'll be on the road to do some filming again, to start filming Randomland back to our regular schedule, the show must go on type of thing. But before I could do that, before I could really do it and be my best and give my best, I gotta get a foothold back into being, if not my best, then at least being my normal self. So that's what we're out here doing. I'm not really sure why I felt the need to share, but perhaps a lot of other people are going through a stressful time too. You know, this was a $20 a night campsite, and we thought, hey, it's an hour and a half away right now. Let's go out, see if we can get away for 2 nights, be quiet, go to sleep when the sun goes to sleep, and see if we can refresh. So if there are any campgrounds open near you, I found it to be extremely helpful to just change your perspective like that. A lot of places reopening, most places have campgrounds reopening, so maybe it's something to think about. If you got a tent laying around and you can get a cheap campsite, if you only go for 1 night, you know, grab some food from the fridge and all that. But I gotta tell you, yes, our grandparents had it worse in World War II or the Great Depression or whatever. We can think of lots of things that were worse. The Black Plague, for one. There's nothing wrong in admitting, especially to yourself, and knowing and trying to know, or to take, you know, stop, go through your mental checklist and see, like, am I okay? It might not even be anything crazy happening. It might just be like, am I okay? Do I need to just... I don't think I've done that enough for myself. Like I said, 7 years, just yeah, film it, let's go, let's get crazy. And finally, I've just hit one of those walls where it just needs a peace and quiet, a little time with the boy in the woods, a little chili. We're gonna cook some Denison's chili con carne over there, no beans. And just try to relax out here, sleep well. Got neighbors over here, they're very quiet. These neighbors over here have already pretty much gone to sleep. The sun's gonna go down, so we're gonna have a nice campfire. And before that, I think Julio actually wants to tell you a campfire story. So we will include you a little bit in this, just because I want the memory with the boy, but I just wanted to explain sort of where I'm at and what's going on, and yeah, crazy. Okay, with that we can sort of wander back into camp, since you kind of know the deal. I don't normally do this type of vlogging, but when you're near the logs, you could do a vlog. Thank you for your patience. That's quite a nice little pile there. I realize that edit there is going to make it seem like you were highly unsupervised, but I was here as he made this pile. Nice. All right, nothing to do now but let the sun sink romantically below the horizon for us to start our little homey fire in our campsite. And prepare for a heart-wrenching campfire story from Julio here. All right, you ready, London?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm ready too. All right, Julio. Lay it on us. That's horrifying. That's the worst story I've ever heard. I'll never be able to sleep well now, Julio. Thanks a lot. Oh yeah, look at that. Probably hard for you guys to see, but the stars are out now. People are making creepy noises out in the campground. Almost time to go home and sleep well. Home being a tent in this instance. It's Bigfoot! London and I have been working on some new marketing strategies for the new Randomland beanie. It's my inaugural Randomland beanie time. I mean, if you're camping out here, you know, you gotta have a beanie. Not that it's that cold, but still, you know, it's just part of things. You ready to say the slogan? All right,
yeah.
Here it is. Here's our pitch. Don't be a weenie.
Get a Randomland beanie.
Huh? You beat me at Uno 3 times in a row. And then I played one more game with you, a 4th game, and you beat me that time too.
Actually, we didn't.
Yes, we did in my mind. That's why I quit. All right.
We'll get this fire out and then time to hit the hay.
What'd the hay do to you?
Hey!
Nice refreshing breakfast, and now we just had a much longer than expected hike, and we find ourselves somewhere interesting. The very beginning of the Santa Ana River, the river that cuts down all the way to Orange County into the ocean, by which I've grown up my entire life. And now we're about to lay eyes on where Heart Bar Creek and Coon Creek come together to form the official beginning of the Santa Ana River. Ooh, this is a horse trail. I see some residue. Watch that residue, London. All right, this is Coon Creek right here, as in raccoon, but seems to be awfully dry at the moment. Oh, look right here, buddy. Just over the hill. In wetter times, this would be the bubbling, tumbling down Heart Bar Creek. So Coon Creek is right behind you, and they come together right over there. Let's go. Other springs and creeks run into it farther down, which makes the river run almost all year, but they force it underground in Orange County. People are always like, it's a dry river. It's just forced underground into the aquifer. I think this is it. Right behind these brambles is where they come together. And that means this is it. The beginning point of the Santa Ana River. A lot less river and a lot more Santa Ana than I thought it would be. Do you feel educated?
No.
Do you feel like it was worth the long hike to see the birthplace of the river of your birthplace?
You mean the
Anaheim means Ana home on the Santa Ana River? Huh? Home of Saint Anne? Santa Ana? And here no?
No.
All right. Well, you win some, you lose some. But the hike was nice. This would look awfully nice if it had been raining recently or if the snow was melting. Maybe we'll come and do it on horseback someday if we ever own any horses, which I doubt. Ooh, somebody made an illegal campground right here. We should have camped at it. I gotta be honest, even just one night outside, under the stars, in nature, somewhere quiet, no screens, all that, and even just half a day already of activity without thinking about home stuff really helps me on the quest for positivity. Just to be able to be out and appreciate, like, oh, look how nice those trees look, or the brambles, or like, look at this. These little flowers over here. Look at those things. There are some of the birds out here. There's one bird that keeps going. Wish I knew what kind of bird that was. We're just smelling the fresh air, or as London just said, the stars. Just when we finally had the campfire out and everything was out and looking up, and which you can never capture on video to my satisfaction, but just looking up and seeing like the trees all backlit by that star field out there. Very restorative. Just remembering that there's beauty in the world and the whole world isn't all fighting and arguing and chaos and stress, and it's not all bills and taxes and dentists and MRIs and whatever else is going on. Just remember that even if I disappeared forever, the universe would keep on going. That's not an invitation to make me disappear. I'm watching you. All right, it is once again chili time. Why do you like chili every camping trip? You're like, just more chili. How very cowboyish of you. Specific reason or just?
Chili.
Okay. The boy has improved his axe skills. I dropped my white hat into the dirt, so I'm wearing my friend Brett's hat. But other than that momentary, oh no, the R stands for dirt. I think I've taken some big first steps, towards regaining some balance, as the Jedi would say. So I know this video is a little weird, a little unconventional, not quite a normal episode, not quite a normal vlog. And we spent most of our time here without you, but we just thought you'd like to come camping with us for a moment. And since you've done that, you've done your duty. You can go home and
sleep well.
Yes. There ain't nothing like a campfire to sit by with your son, especially when your other son leaves you. Get it? 'Cause the sun went down in the west. That was my other son.
And I just realized I'm really thirsty for some Capri Sun.
Stop. Just stop.
I wish I had a son
No.
of money. I think I meant a son. Oh, there ain't nothing like a campfire to hang out with London. Come on, you know you like that.
No,
Yes, you do.
I do
It's
not.
gonna be stuck in your head all night now.
It's not, because
Yes, it
it's so
will.
random.
Forever.
No.